Of people who bought homes in the previous 2 years, 47% said that they made an offer without physically touring the home, which is
That is
insane.
shockingly high.
I
Yeah,
thought so
I would agree.
too.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So, welcome to another episode of real estate and everything else.
I'm Ashley, and I'm the broker and owner of the Johnson Group.
Hey, I'm Andrea Clordy. I am a property manager with our Marcia Rentals, as well as an agent, real estate agent for the Johnson Group.
My name's Cathy Hicks. I am an agent here at the Johnson Group. I, in my previous life, was a 21-year Army wife, hence the whole experiences of moving. Currently, I also work here at the Johnson Group, kind of being Ashley and Erin's right hand, writing things, proofreading, taking pictures and videos, and all those kinds of fun things.
She does all the things.
I don't know exactly what I do, but I do what I'm told.
And I am Erin Schultz. I've lived here since 2001. Moved here when I got married and been buying and selling crap ever since. Not crap. Amazing homes, but we are talking today about sight unseen, purchasing houses sight unseen. I know in 2022 it was kind of a huge 2020 and through 2022,
Yeah.
like it was a huge deal. So we kind of wanted to talk about it from our perspective as real estate agents and then what we've been through and kind of see if it's something that we recommend, don't recommend. I wanted to get your opinions on all of that. So let's kick it off with a little bit of nerd stats. According to a national survey by Lending Tree of people who bought homes in the previous 2 years, 47% said that they made an offer without physically touring the home, which is
That is
insane.
shockingly high.
Yeah,
I thought so
I would agree.
too.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, they wrote an offer, not just saw the house like somebody
Right.
videoed it.
Yeah, they actually went to buy it.
Committed. That's like dating somebody only online. We're just gonna FaceTime. Will you marry me?
It was really a
No.
popular thing.
I do remember. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it for sure was. But 47% is high. That's like all right at half.
People couldn't get here.
Well, this was 2022, so this was like at the end of
It was
the
close to
process.
the end, and
That's true. They could have been under contract for it, but that's still high. So right now, would you guys do you recommend it? Like if it was you buying a house, would you buy a house sight unseen, knowing what you know?
I personally would not, even though we built our home from far away, like we were in New York while it was being built here. I feel like new construction is different. You have the warranties, you're updated throughout the process. So it's a little bit different, even though still scary. But if you can help it at all, I would say to be here. If you truly can't, you're PCSing from Korea and you absolutely cannot be here, we totally get that. And there's video and FaceTime and all the things that we can do. But if you can help it at all, I would try to be here.
Even if you just get here to get the lay of the land. When we first moved down here in 2011, I had my parents come down. We were in Alaska. My parents came down and kind of did a little bit of groundwork ahead of time to see neighborhoods and that kind of thing on our behalf, and then reported back to us. Today, we don't have to do that. It's 14 years later. We don't have to do that quite as much and rely on other people to do our work for us because we all have cameras and all the things. But yeah, I think at least coming and learning the lay of the land, and even if you plan to have to buy remotely, knowing the neighborhoods and where you want to target is always a great idea.
There's still like something about the feel of the place. Like when you walk into a house, there's a feel to it. I don't know if a lot of people are emotional about it.
smell.
The smell. Yes, the smell is absolutely. So having that perspective, somebody
And
that
I
you
don't mean that in a
trust.
bad way, but like
No,
Savannah has a distinct smell, and today Savannah smelled really strongly. And crazy enough, my parents are in town, and they're like, "It's like what stinks?" And I was like, "Outside." Like it, and
Well,
it
I
stinks like
tell
inside. Also, it's welcome to Savannah.
Well, when I talk to my buyers, especially my remote buyers, the first time I tell them I'm your eyes, ears, and nose through this process.
Yes.
That's just part of what I tell them right out the gate is that's what I'm here to do.
My husband says, "It smells like marsh grass and home." I'm like, "Ooh, it smells like rotten mud." Like, it just kind of does. I don't know why it does, but sometimes it just does. But to him, it smells like home. To me, it took
Right.
a little, I don't even smell it anymore. Like, it doesn't even like register with me that it has a kind of smell. I think every place
Andrea's
has a
lived here the
smell.
least amount of time. Andrea, do you still smell it?
So even though I've been here the least amount of time and it's, humid and muggy in the marsh, like I grew up 2 minutes to the beach. So you could smell low tide anywhere, even though it was salt water and, the sound or the ocean, like low tide is low tide.
Yes, low tide anywhere smells like low tide. That's funny. Well, and I guess New York has a smell, like everywhere has one. Like, but that's something you can't do through, like, you can't smell the smell through the like through the phone. So you got to trust who's on the
No.
other end of it to tell you the truth.
Low tide in Alaska was special because you were on the creek with all the salmon, and so if they would get stranded, it would be extra. So yeah,
Ugh.
not
No,
recommended.
thank you.
But you had other beautiful things to look at. So
I think not only for the buyer is it scary on my end, for the seller, I feel like it's scary also.
Yeah. What do you tell your sellers?
I mean, I have one going on right now, and the agent wrote the offer, and she's like, I FaceTimed with them. She's like, I tried to show them everything I could find. She's like, I was very nitpicky about the house. And I was like, please tell me you're going to get them here before my due diligence is up. It's like, yeah. And I told the sellers, I was like, as long as they can be here before due diligence is up, I'm not terribly worried about it because anybody can change them. Sorry.
Sure.
Anybody can change their mind during that period of time for any reason. But you always want somebody to at least have like somebody that you really trust and know, like a friend or a family member or somebody to come in and like physically walk into the house. Because like Erin said, it's an emotional thing when you're buying a house.
And somebody that knows you and can predict what you're gonna feel about a place is very helpful in the process if you can do it. I know sometimes people can't, but
Yeah, because I've had both sides. I've had buyers that, like, I am same with Ashley's buyer. I am super particular in the videos. Like, I point out every little scratch I can see in the floor because I want them to know everything that could potentially be wrong, even more so than if they were here in person. But I've had transactions that have been absolutely great through the phone and FaceTime and all of that, and I've had a buyer come into town and tell me she absolutely hates this area. I'm like, well, this is the town you told me you wanted to be in. I can't
Right.
help that.
So sorry.
It's hard. But if you have no someone that knows you,
All before you bought here, Andrea?
yes. So it was during the COVID time, so we couldn't fly or else we'd have to quarantine. So we just drove and drove here and toured a bunch of neighborhoods, kind of like what Cathy was saying, toured the area, toured neighborhoods, got a feel of where we wanted to be, then narrowed it down to a neighborhood, and then went home. And then they sent us the lots that were available for the home that we picked on their website and everything. But we were here.
That makes it a little bit easier because then
It
you
does
kind
make it a
of
little bit easier because it's not the first time
expect.
you've walked into Savannah. I mean, I
Yeah,
reached
set
out
your
house sight
expectations.
unseen here, and I'd never been here.
Yeah, you did. You just signed on the dotted line and showed up. Like, don't live here. Guess this is where
Yes.
we're living.
That's the way it
It
works
makes it a
sometimes.
little easier when you rent for a year because it's only a year. It's not buying, but still, it's scary because you don't know. I would have felt better had I at least come through and driven through the area, so to them, hey, what's going to be in my backyard? And now with Google Maps and all that makes it so much easier because you can like basically walk around it.
Google.
You
Street
could be
street view.
a voyeur without even leaving your home. Just look at
Right,
people's
so it does
stuff.
make it a lot easier than it used to be.
But
It
if you
does.
don't have someone here that you trust that can do that for you, then maybe you need to talk to us at Marshall Rentals and we can find you a rental for a little bit.
100 for
Nice plug. Good job.
Or get an experienced agent that has done it a few times.
Absolutely.
And I did it personally too. I bought a condo or a townhouse sight unseen. And it ended up not working because they didn't get through the process in time for me to be able to move my family in. So we had to adjust how we did things. But yeah, I've been through it on the
Once
buyer
again,
side.
that's why you have to have a good agent.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And my agent that was representing me knows me really well. And now I work with her. So, but she really did hold it down for me and my parents while we went through this process. So,
But another like really good way, if you can't be here, is to manage the risk through all of the inspections that you can do.
yep.
And having a great agent. Like, I mean, you guys are amazing agents. I've watched you from this side of things do what you can. Like, you go the extra mile for people. And that's the kind of agent you've got to make sure before you sign on the dotted line with somebody that the agent is willing to do the things like drive out there 5,000 times and video what you need to be videoed, or show up for the inspection and actually physically be there with the inspector and ask the
Yep.
questions as if
Well, I
you were
think the
buying a
big
house
thing is
yourself.
the agent gonna not just trying to sell you a house,
Yes.
but making sure you love what you're buying.
Mhm.
Sounds terrible that if they're super hungry and can't pay their bills, they want you to close on that house. But
They don't
if
care what house you're
they're-
buying. And I tell all of my clients and all my agents, don't sell them a house unless they love it, because it'll be
Yes.
tough to resell it in 6 months.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like, we want to make sure that it's a great product and they're going to love it, enjoy it, and not regret the decision. We ultimately want you to be lifelong, fans of the Johnson Group and not, buy one house and be done. Like, we're here for life. And if we sell you something that's terrible, then you're not going to be. So,
Well, the last
Uh,
remote purchase that I facilitated, it was a build, and we were out there I was out every week videoing for them because they wanted to know where the outlets were going to be. They wanted to know where the pipes were. All those things. And that was part of the risk management for them, is they were like, we know we want to do some things to the house, like put up bookshelves and that kind of thing. We need to know where all of that stuff is. And so that was part of their risk management request was, hey, could you go all the time? And I was literally out there every week for 7 months, filming their house and sending it to them. Even if nothing had been done, they were getting a video from me every week.
which is awesome. Another thing that we recommend is the inspections.
Mhm.
What inspections do you guys? I know what I do when I personally buy a house, but what do you guys recommend?
Well, there's obviously the regular home inspection that you
Mhm.
need no matter what.
Absolutely. Never skip the home inspection.
Mm-mm.
Never.
I always recommend a pre-drywall inspection. So then you do get somebody looking at joists and framing and all those kinds of things, making sure things are grounded.
The
correctly.
plumbing.
The
But
plumbing,
if
all
you're
those
not-
things are done.
If it's not a new construction house, I
Right.
think that's where, Andrea, you were hitting a little bit on the original inspection, but then what else would you suggest?
If there's a septic tank, have the septic inspected and pumped.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that's all working correctly and the size
What's a
that you
septic?
need.
Hit that really
Yeah.
fast. What are we talking about? What's a septic? There's some people that are like, what? What are you talking about?
So some houses here are on city, like public sewer and water, and some have septic tanks and wells. So those are two separate inspections you can have done, the septic tank and the well. But the septic tank is where all your toilet water goes. And
Yeah.
all of the water.
And it's buried in your yard.
It is
And
buried
it's
in your
very-
yard.
And our water table is so high where you could dig down 18 inches and have standing water. So having that inspection is crucial to making sure that your septic tank is functioning
it's
the way it's
healthy.
supposed to.
Yeah.
Yep. That it's healthy. That's a great way to put it.
Also,
It's
I
sound
would
little
recommend
ecosystem.
having an AC inspection before you buy a house. It gets hot here.
Yeah,
It gets hot and cold and hot
inspection
and
for
cold
sure.
and hot and here. So
And it doesn't matter. It can be 70 degrees and your HVAC still freeze up, which is what happened to me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Frozen solid but it was only 70 degrees outside.
and there's nothing
There's
wrong with
termite.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's termite inspections, there's mold and mildew inspections. Like I said, well, septic, roof,
Mhm.
HVAC. There's so many things that you could do. And yes, each one of them is going to be $100 to a couple $100. But in the grand scheme of things of owning this house, if you can't be here, especially, you want to make
Correct.
sure it's a sound investment.
And you
Yes,
want
100%.
multiple sets of eyes, not just an inspector and the real estate agent. You want a AC guy to come and tell you because that's his area of expertise, and you want the septic guy to come and look because that's his area of expertise. Like, we as agents are not experts in those things, and that's not our job. Our job is to do a good job representing and facilitating the sale. I don't have a construction license. I don't have like the things, but I've done this enough to know to recommend, and y'all have done this enough to know to recommend. Okay, that looks a little hinky, but this is not my area of expertise. I recommend that you do this. So putting those people and eyeballs in place is huge.
So I went up in an attic with a client a couple weeks ago for a house that they were putting their house up for sale. They're like, I love this house. I'm buying it. And I was like, okay. So have you checked the whole entire house? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, let's go up in the attic. So we walk up in the attic and it's
A very
spray-
expensive home.
It's a very
Yes.
expensive home. And it's got spray foam in it. And there were spots of let's say mildew, because we don't know. We never had it tested on the AC system. And we got our general contractor to go back out and look at it. And he pointed out more spots and where there was insulation in the floor and spray foam on the tops. There was nowhere for anything to breathe. So if we hadn't have checked that out before writing an offer, the clients would have been under contract on this property without knowing those things. So it's a good thing to have an experienced agent going out. Like I tell my people all the time, I'm not above climbing up the attic stairs.
Yep.
Because you never know what you're going to find up there.
No, when we did team pictures 18 months ago, I came from an attic to pictures. So
Yeah.
had to deal a little bit with the humidity in August, but
Don't we all?
right.
Yeah, it's important to have somebody that's willing to do that and can do that for you if you're not going to buy or not going to be here to do it yourself. And even somebody willing to do it, even if you are here in person.
Yeah, because when you
it's
get in a
important.
house, you forget about things. You're excited and what the views look like or what that looks like. So I think if you have an agent, if Andrea's like, hey, let's check the foundation or let's look at the cracks in the walls or just those things.
Dating.
Like, yeah, let's walk on the floors, which there's no soft spots. It's
Yes.
just having that
There
extra
is,
step.
before you've signed on the dotted line, it's that dating period. There's the period where you get like super excited. Yay, this house is fancy. It's just so lovely and all the things. And then
The
you go through
honeymoon
the
phase.
The honeymoon phase. Then you
The
go through the
90
inspection.
days. The honeymoon phase when you're dating is 90 days. At 90 days, that's
Yep.
yeah.
Well, in
That's when
the
it
house
starts to
world,
crash
it's
and
about
burn.
5 to 7, depending on when your inspection is. And then you get the inspection report, and you're
Yep.
like, oh, there's all the warts and the moles and the things and the about
Yep.
the house. But you don't get to do that part if you're, buying remotely. So it's
Well,
always
and a
good
lot
to
of
have
it's
somebody else.
knowing a lot of it's knowing the right questions to ask.
That too.
And that's where your agent's going to come in and be like, these are the questions to help clarify all of those things.
Absolutely. Alrighty, I think we gave a couple of great places to start for people that are considering purchasing sight unseen. If you would like more about it, you can always download our buyer checklist and worksheet. That will be a link in the bio. In the description, we are offering it free to use to help you through the process.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to view these videos and other ones we put out.